The Medici house was one of the most influential and powerful financial institutions of the 15th century. It was founded by Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici in 1397 in Florence, Italy. The house was central to the Medici family's economic rise and became the Italian Renaissance's financial backbone. It is debated whether the Renaissance movement would have been as powerful without the Medici family. In this video we will learn about this organization and its contributions to banking as detailed in our book A History of Banks. If you want to learn more about financial history, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the 14th century, Italy was a region consisting of small principalities. While the Papal States were located around Rome, the Lombardy region, particularly Florence, in the north, had emerged with banking activities. The Lombard companies Bardi and Peruzzi were the largest commercial enterprises of the Middle Ages, with textile workshops based on wool trade with England. However, everything would change suddenly with a single letter. When the letter arrived, stating that King Edward III of England could no longer pay his debts, over 1.5 million florins, the Bardi and Peruzzi families, Florence's leading bankers, fell into despair. If unpaid, it would affect not only Florence but all of Italy. Their worst fears came true. Though they had profited from controlling English wool imports, essential to Italy's textile industry, the 100 Years' War, beginning in 1337, strained the king's finances and caused the debt to balloon. Unable to collect, both families neared bankruptcy. By the late 14th century, the Bardi and Peruzzi were gone, and the Medici rose. In this dynamic environment, bankers across Lombardy thrived. Giovanni di Bicci de' Medici, with help from his uncle, began banking in Rome and founded the Medici Bank in Florence in 1397. The bank, and Giovanni's textile workshops, quickly grew. Banking was seen as part of trade. Bankers were merchant bankers. Giovanni's career peaked in 1410 when he became chief banker to the papacy. The Medicis maintained strong ties with the church despite interruptions in papal privileges. Giovanni kept a modest public profile and did not distinguish himself socially. When he died in 1429, handing the bank to his son Cosimo, the Medici had become the wealthiest family in Florence and the most successful family business in Europe. The bank's golden age began under Cosimo's leadership. Cosimo was more statesman than businessman. Bishop Piccolomini, later Pope Pius II, said, "Political issues are resolved in Cosimo's house. He is a king in everything but name." Cosimo expanded his father's legacy with political acumen, surviving conspiracies, a brief imprisonment, and a year-long exile in Venice. He returned in 1434, expelled his enemies, and became Florence's dominant figure. Cosimo, a passionate patron of the arts, supported artists even when it provoked religious conservatives. Upon his death in 1464, Florence honored him with the title Pater Patriae, Father of the Country. His son, Lorenzo de' Medici, who is called Lorenzo the Magnificent, succeeded him. Though less skilled than Cosimo, Lorenzo had artistic sensitivity and helped preserve Florence's independence amid fierce Italian rivalries. Widely regarded as the most significant Renaissance patron, he greatly enriched Florence's cultural life. Lorenzo held no public office but was Florence's key power broker. He spent much of his life clashing with Pope Sixtus IV, who commissioned the Sistine Chapel. In the 1478 Pazzi conspiracy during Easter, Lorenzo was wounded but survived. His brother Giuliano was killed. Lorenzo introduced a new constitution, stabilized Florence, boosted trade and ensured peace until he died in 1492. England's civil wars, called the War of the Roses, led to the collapse of the Medici Bank's London branch. Lorenzo's successor, Piero de' Medici, called Unfortunate Piero, failed politically and financially and was eventually exiled in 1492. While Cosimo grew the bank by reinvesting profits, later generations weakened it through wasteful spending, poor credit policies and political distractions. Civil wars, mismanagement and English losses hastened its downfall. Although the Medici family is best known for their bank, their real business was not purely banking. At their core, they were manufacturers and traders, especially active in the textile industry, which was booming in Florence at the time. They produced and traded cloth, often relying on their control of English wool imports and a wide network of workshops. However, by combining trade with finance, they became pioneers of a new kind of business, the merchant banker. This meant they didn't just lend money, they financed trade, managed investments, issued letters of credit, and moved capital across Europe. The family retained some influence, but neither the bank nor the Medicis regained Cosimo's former glory. Still, the Medici created one of Europe's most powerful financial networks and introduced key banking innovations. The Medici Bank established branches in Rome, Venice, Milan, Naples, Bruges, London and Lyon following major trade routes. The Rome branch was vital due to papal ties, while Bruges connected the bank to northern Europe. In London, the bank was active in the wool trade. Their major innovation was a holding-type multi-branch structure. Each branch, managed by a family member or trusted partner, shared profits or losses with the central office. They used double-entry bookkeeping developed by Luca Pacioli and created a remittance and credit letter system that moved funds between cities without transferring cash. The bank also managed papal revenues. Without the Medicis, the Renaissance would have been slower, weaker, and less influential. Their banking wealth supported artists, thinkers, and scientists. Without them, Brunelleschi might not have built Florence Cathedral's dome, Michelangelo might not have grown up in their gardens, and Galileo might not have found early support. They also fostered a relatively free intellectual climate in Florence, encouraging humanism and secular art. Their investments in printing, translation, libraries and education helped shape Europe's cultural future. The Renaissance wasn't one great event but a convergence of political, economic and cultural shifts. The absence of the Medici family would have removed one of its most vital pillars. Their innovative methods laid the foundations for modern banking, making the Medici Bank one of the most important financial institutions of its time. You can find more information in A History of Banks. Enjoy your reading and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.